Mexican Joyride isn't too bad. It's definitely well animated and has a really good pace to it. And Daffy also looks pretty awesome. This was released in 1947. It is, of course, a Warner Brothers cartoon directed by Arthur Davis, written by Dave Monahan and Hubie Carp, with voices provided by Mel Blanc. And it starts off with Daffy going on holiday to Mexico and having an encounter with some pretty hot Mexican food. And that takes up maybe less than a minute of the cartoon. And then the rest of it is all about him going to a bullfight and saying these horrible things to the bull, and the bull is not having this. So he challenges Daffy Duck. And what happens is actually unpredictable. And I think one of the reasons why I'd initially thought this was going to be quite the same as a lot of other cartoons, but because the bull is anthropomorphic, considerably more than usual, it worked very well. Usually, when we have a character against a bull, the bull is very much an animal. But in this one, they have dialogue, and Daffy can play tricks on the bull, and the bull can react to those, and it works both ways as well. And I think that was really interesting. That's not to say it's the only cartoon where the bull is anthropomorphic and has a voice and can interact more, but certainly of the rather a lot of cartoons I've seen where the main character fights a bull or runs away from a bull, usually the bull is an animal. Not so much here, and it worked really well. It was very well animated. The pacing of it was really great. And, as I said, there was a little bit of setting up with Daffy going to the restaurant and things, but it definitely just helped to show that Daffy, by putting him in that restaurant and him underestimating the food really shows that he's not really in the place where he can go and shout his mouth off and claim to know everything, because clearly he hasn't got a clue. And this is, presumably his first visit to Mexico. So I think the setting up actually worked really well. But the main narrative, once it kicked in, I really liked. And I didn't expect to. Because, as I said, there are a lot of cartoons where the character fights bulls or runs away from bulls. But it was a little breath of fresh air compared to a lot of others, and I thought it was pretty decent. Having said that, would I watch it again? Maybe. It's still not my kind of cartoon. I'm not that bothered about cartoons that involve bullfighting, but it is a little bit different, and I'm happy to say that I did enjoy it. Maybe once is enough for me. Maybe I'll watch it again in the future, but either way, if you're a fan of Daffy Duck, or indeed if you like bullfighting cartoons, Mexican Joyride is one that I would say is definitely worth watching at least once.